In this video we're going to show how we tie our version of a Clouser Minnow. This pattern was originally designed by Bob Clouser, who's now designing fly rods for Temple Fork Outfitter fly rods. And with all due respect to Bob, I'm sure that we're not tying it anywhere near to the standards or quality that he had originally designed it. But we do think that it's a very effective pattern. It's good for all species of fish, freshwater or saltwater, large fish, small fish. With a lot of variations, it can be fished effectively for almost anything. To tie this fly, I like to anchor my thread just slightly in front of the halfway point on the shank of the hook, and then lay a dumbbell eye across that bed of thread, and then do a series of crisscrosses or figure 8 wraps across the top of that eye to hold it in place. I want to do several wraps. I want to make sure that this eye is nice and secure. I will even go under the eye completely around it several times and then back over the top in a figure 8 or crisscross fashion, because I want to make sure that this eye is nice and secure, and then end in front of the eye. With the eye on there, that's going to cause the hook to float in the upside down position as it goes through the water. In other words, it'll go through the water with the spear and point up, which reduces the likelihood that it'll snag on things on the bottom. The next step is to add some bucktail. Here I'm using white bucktail. I anchor it in front of the eyes of the hook, or excuse me, in front of the eyes that I put on the hook. And then I figure 8 across those eyes again several times, and then wrap down the shank of the hook, keeping the bucktail on the top, and then back up the shank of the hook and ending in front of the eyes. At this point, the excess bucktail out in front can be cut off, and you're ready for the next step. Because the weight of the eyes will cause this fly to go through the water in a position where the shank is down and the bend of the hook is up, I like to rotate it over in my vise to finish the fly. The next step, I use some crystal flash, which I folded in a slight V pattern, not too many fibers, and I split them on either side of the shank of the hook, and then secure them in front of those dumbbell eyes. The crystal flash is going to provide just a little splash of color, and will simulate or emulate a lateral line down the side of this minnow. Next, we add just another color of bucktail. In this case, I'm going to use chartreuse. Split it left or right of the bend of the hook, so it's on the top of that crystal flash. Again, secure it in front of those dumbbell eyes. Cut off the excess in front, and then carefully make a head on the fly from the dumbbell eyes clear out to the eye of the hook. I rarely use head cement on my flies, but this is one case where I might make an exception. I use fingernail polish, which can provide a little sparkle to the head, and by using different colors of fingernail polish, you can change the color of the head. Simple whip finish, and that is the completed fly. There are several ways to vary this fly. One would be to change the size of the hook, change the size or density of the eye to change your sink rate, change the color of materials that are used, such as in the bottom one here I used just white and chartreuse bucktail, whereas in the top one I used white, yellow chartreuse, and a dark olive bucktail layered in. One thing I recommend is being fairly sparse on the materials when tying this fly. Very effective pattern. If you have any questions, please drop us an email. We'll be happy to help you in any way we can.